Quentin here, and we're back after simming the first month, which did not go very well at all. As you can see down here in our team stats rankings, we do not have a very good batting average at all, and our on-base percentage is abysmal as well, being nearly dead last. Our home runs are pretty solid at fourth, and stolen bags tied for second. Our strength right now, funny enough, seems to be our pitching, which is roughly middle of the pack to slightly below it at 8th and ninth with runs against the starter ERA, but at least our bullpen ERA is at a 2.92, which is pretty alright. So we went 11 and 13, and I'll show you guys here. 11 and 13 in April. Where's the schedule? So over half of our losses came from the Cubs. So we had 7 games against them in the month of April, and we lost all 7. So they were actually over half of our losses, which is ridiculous. And the other losses came from the Pirates, who threw us 4, and then we lost to the Mets once and the Rockies once. So basically our division rivals are doing really well right now. If you check, the Pirates, the Cubs, and the Cards are all doing really well. And funny enough, we beat the Cardinals, swept them in our series actually, a solid 3-0, and they're third right now, or I'm not sure they're tied. No, they're not tied. They're half a game behind the Pirates right now, even with those 3 losses we handed them. So yeah, they're a pretty nasty team as well. Like I said, the Cubs rocked us. We had a couple close ones, 0-2, 1-2, 1-2, but besides that, some pretty hefty losses, losing by 4. Lost by 3 here, lost by 6. Even the Pirates, lost by 2, which I guess isn't too bad, lost by 2. So I guess the Pirates were a bit closer, except for this blowout right here. Did sweep the Phillies, which is nice. Did well versus the Mets, versus the Rockies. So here's hoping the month of May goes a little bit better, because we will have a couple new opponents in there. And we do not have to face the Cardinals, the Cubs, or the Pirates, except the Pirates once. So we'll see how that goes. Should be pretty interesting. And before I continue showing the lineups and pitching, there's There's only one thing that I had to go over. Sorry, I wrote it down just so I wouldn't forget, and I was reading through it. And I guess I should go to messages. Oh, well, I guess it won't be in messages, but basically I picked up, I don't know his first name, I always butcher it, but Ahire Adrianza. He's basically the old Giants player who was on waivers, and I decided to pick him up and plug him into my AAA team, and he's doing pretty alright right now. I believe, Louisville Bats, so he's doing okay in AAA right now. The reason I picked him up is because he's still pretty cheap, 507. Basically the lowest salary you can get, and he has solid defensive ratings, and his batting ratings aren't too terrible. Has a little bit of speed and base running, so nothing amazing, but nothing terrible either. And he could be a solid backup just in case anyone happens to get hurt. And besides that, there was an injury to Duvall. He was hurt instantly. I think he got injured in the second day or so. I think it might. 4/6/2016. So he was injured very early on to the season, strained oblique, out for 3 weeks, ruined his amazingly hot start because he started off the season very well. Let's see if I can find it here. Batting ratings, 2016? Should I go to the game log? Yeah, okay. So as you can see here, he started off pretty well. He went 0 for 3, but then he went 3 for 5, and that's when he went down. So he was doing pretty alright. Then when he came back, 0 for 4, 0 for 3, 1 for 4, 0 for 5, he just hasn't really been batting well at all. Abysmal everything, basically. Tyler Holt was his backup, and he's been on pretty much a hot streak ever since we plugged him in. So let's go look at his stuff. So he started off a little bit. Actually, no, he started off pretty well as well. Yeah, I guess he dipped a little bit here, but then eventually started picking it up more and more. Went on a really big hitting streak here over quite a few games, almost a week it seems, yeah. So he went on a pretty big hit streak around here, and he's been keeping that up. I mean, let me go back to his stats. Tyler Holt, So 288, 365, slugging 530. I know it's only been a month, so you can't really look at stats too much, but it's pretty nice to see someone have a good month, especially out of this guy who I was not expecting anything out of at all. And let's see what else is there. One last thing would be Suarez, who, funny enough, even though statistics look horrible right now, at the beginning of the season, I swear this guy channeled his inner Trevor Story or something. I swear he like ate him, took his soul, because he knocked out. I remember I went day per day, or I was simming a few days. I wanted to sim about 4 or 5 days forward, and a couple of the games after they had passed and simmed, I saw he was at 5 home runs, and I'm like, no way, I haven't even finished simming yet. So I canceled it, and saw only 3 games have passed. So he homered 5 times in only 3 games. So let's see if I can find that. I can. You can see here, in his first game he went 2 for 3, then he went 3 for 5, and then he went 3 for 5 again. So these first 3 games, then 2 home runs, 2 home runs, 1 home run, with 4, 5, and 2 RBIs. So in his first 3 games, he went 8 and 13 with 5 home runs and 11 RBIs. Insane. Like, look at that stat line. He was going crazy. And even after that, I mean, he still he went kind of cold for the next 2 games, but then he hit 2 for 4. And just from there, it's just like a steep decline. He went hitless for, it seems, about 4 games, then 1 hit, then hitless for 3 games. So he's been on a pretty big decline, and it's a shame that he couldn't keep it up, because he's been pretty hot outside of that. And sadly, our backups and depth guys who've just been here to give a little bit of rest to our team have just been doing nothing. Phillips has not gotten a single hit in 17 at bats. Kurt Suzuki is 2 for 33. Pacheco is 3 for 28. Rodriguez is 2 for 12. Duvall is batting horrendously. And yeah, just a lot of really low averages. I mean, we're one of the lowest averages in the league, which makes sense. I mean, Votto's killing it. He's easily our best batter by quite a bit. Tyler Holt, he was pretty hot. Funny enough, Cozart is one of our better hitters too. I mean, he's got a good average. His on-base percentage is all right. Doesn't slug for much, but that's understandable. I mean, he's not supposed to be a power guy. He hasn't really given us many stolen bags, which is surprising, even though he has decent stealing and some speed. I might have to tune up his stats a bit to make him, or not his stats, but his, what's it called? The game strategy. There you go. I might have to set his game strategy to try and steal a bit more. Billy Hamilton, very surprising as well. Somebody who's had a very good month. 281, 337, 417. Ivan DeJesus, who's not really doing so great. Jay Bruce, at least he's slugging a little bit with Eugenio Suarez, but that's about it. It's because they both have quite a few home runs. 7 with Suarez. I believe that's a 6 with Bruce. I can never tell with this font on my screen. And then Tyler Holt, who's belted 4. So I actually decided to give Holt a little bit more playtime. He's playing every 3rd game for Duvall, and then every 7th for Hamilton, just to give Hamilton a bit of a break. I was debating platooning them, doing like a every other game they just switch between or something, but I wasn't really sure if I wanted to really do that, because I don't know how long Tyler Holt's hot streak's gonna stay. So he's gonna stay as every 3rd game guy, and then give Duvall a little bit more play time to see if he can break out of his slump a bit. And in terms of pitching, where's our, let's go to starters, sort this by, it's really funny if you check out the ERAs. So the innings pitched are going to be a little bit out of whack, because Homer Bailey and John Lamb just came back into the rotation very, not too long ago, or very shortly I guess I should say, and they did not pitch very well. Homer Bailey, 4.2 innings pitched, gave up 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 4.2 innings pitched, 10 hits, 5 earned runs. So he's been getting smacked around quite a bit. John Lamb, 4 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 earned runs. Honestly, I don't know if I should have really plugged them in. I don't know if this has an effect or not, but I have a bad habit of always just, as soon as someone's not injured anymore, to put them back in to do things. And I believe there's like an option or something where you could set them on a rehab assignment, which is what I think I should have done, because I think that might be costing me and why they're getting smacked around so much. But either way, I'll give them like another month or so to see if they can pick up their play, because if they can't, I actually have another replacement over here in AAA who's doing very well. Is this guy right here, Cody Reed, who in 30 innings pitched has a 1.45 ERA. He's 3 wins, 0 losses with a 1.02 whip. Hasn't given up any home runs. His walk rate is a little bit high. As you can see, 3.9 walks per 9 because he's given up 13 over 30 innings. But his strikeout rate's at a good, respectable 8.3. Already posting a 1 WAR, almost a .9 WAR over the first, I would say, like, I guess month. Yeah, how many games he played? Yeah, quite a few games. So over the first about 5 starts. So he's kind of young, but I mean, if he keeps it up, if he gives one more month of consistency, and then I get another bad month of Bailey and Lamb, then one of them's gonna get replaced. Probably Lamb, but you never know. I mean, whoever outperforms the other, really. And besides that, I guess I'll do it by innings pitch. Raisel Iglesias, are supposedly ace, is pitching. I guess his ERA isn't the best, but his FIP is definitely better than the others. He has a pretty low whip, allowed a lot of home runs, but he has a good K9 ratio, hasn't walked too many. Finnegan's doing pretty well too, although the FIPs are a little bit, I mean not a little bit, but they're definitely high. They're definitely higher than I want to see, but solid ERAs, good whips. The home runs are a little bit questionable, but what can you do? He doesn't really strike out many, I noticed, Esclafani. Only, how many strikeouts? 14 over 24 innings, so not a huge strikeout guy, but that's alright. So we'll see how that goes. But our bullpen's definitely been doing pretty well outside of a couple players, I want to say. All relievers. Per inning pitch. So Hoover has the worst ERA and FIP, but he's only pitched 4 innings. So he's had those rocky 4 innings, but if you can, triple that count over the 12 innings pitched or so, maybe I can get a better feel for how he's doing if he can break out of his slump. Ryan Mateus, I'd say. Pretty high ERA too, but his FIP is at least lower. He had a pretty bad showing over those 10 innings. He's allowed 11 hits, 7 runs, 6 of those earned, 5 walks. So not really doing too great, but again, it's only 10 innings, so you can't really tell too much, but at the very least, it's good to see people doing well, and we're going to hope that the people that are struggling will do a little bit better. Pedro Villarreal, he's gotten the most playtime. I've decided to use him more often, but then I actually took that back down to normal once I saw him struggling a bit. So maybe he can break out of whatever his issues are so far. But so far, most of the bullpen's doing well though. I mean, there's only a couple guys doing kind of poorly, but the rest are doing really well. Diaz, Singrani, Wood, and Cotham are all doing excellently, I'd say. Yeah. So they're definitely the staple of our bullpen right now. So yeah, I guess that about sums it up. Like I said, we picked up Adrianza off waivers. Suarez started off hot, and then just, I don't know what happened, fell off a cliff. You can see our batters struggling a bit. Our 1, 2, and 3 guys doing well, 4 and 5 struggling, and then some of our relievers doing well, others doing poorly. So hopefully next month we'll go better. 11 and 13, which is a 458 percentage. We were under 500. Let's see if the next month could be a positive one. We have entirely different opponents to face, and luckily we won't have any of this. So let's see if we can at least break 500 for the next one. Thank you for following this. Excited to play. And I might actually cheat a little bit and sim forward to June, I believe it's 6th. Yeah, I might cheat and sim to June 6th instead of just May, just so I can get to the first year player draft, because it's always something that's really exciting for me. And it would really suck to just do like May, okay, do the recap, and then sim again to the 6th, and then do it. So yeah, it might be a little bit off, but I'll see. So thank you for watching. See you next time.